Welcome to Retirement U TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Brian Quaranta. He is president and founder of Secure Money Advisors. Brian, how are you today?
I must say, over the last quarter, the last 10 shows, you're just nailing the last name anymore.
Well, you know, it took me a little over a year to get this. A little over
a year, but we got it.
I don't like to rush into anything. I like to take my time.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you too. Thank you so much for always taking the time to come in and do the shows, because I know how busy you are. I know obviously you have a beautiful family that you're devoted to, so thank you for taking the time to share the information with the viewing audience. Yeah,
we feel very blessed to be able to provide this. You know, I think it's a very noisy marketplace in the retirement world, and you know, I think people today, there's a little bit of a paralysis by analysis that happens with all the information that's available online, and you know, different events people attend. So yeah, people are really hungry for good, solid information, and we just feel very blessed to be in a position to be able to provide that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've talked in the past, Brian, about how important it is to really plan properly for retirement. So often people will go to the mailbox, they grab statements out, and they think that that's a retirement plan. Right. But Brian, that's not a retirement plan. Let's talk about that this morning.
It's not. A retirement plan is made up of many key components, and there's many variables. And really, an investment plan is even different than a retirement plan. And I think people even get confused there. They think that, hey, I'm investing in my 401k, or I'm making contributions to an IRA. This is my retirement plan, and it's not, because there's an accumulation phase, there's a distribution phase. You know, and the accumulation phase is what I call the investment plan, right? And that's where you can take a lot of risk with your money. You know, you're trying to put as much money away as you can. If the market goes up and down, it doesn't have as much of an impact on you, because you have something very important on your side, and that's time. Time to recover, right? Time to put money away. And so, but as we get 5 years from retirement and into retirement, we shift to a whole different phase, which is the distribution phase. Why do we call it the distribution phase? It's because we actually have to start distributing money. And for 85% of the people that are retiring today, they're not retirement pensions, so they're probably going to need to build a plan that distributes money to them so that they have the monthly income to live off of. But a retirement plan consists of 5 key areas. Number one, and most importantly, is your income. Because when we stop working, the paycheck's gonna stop. But bills, taxes, and all the things you wanna do, your bucket list things that you wanna do, that's not gonna stop. And it's gonna require that you have the monthly income to be able to do those things. Number two is making sure that you're in the right investments. The investment strategy that got you to retirement is not the same strategies that's going to get you through retirement, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then, of course, taxes. Taxes is a big one to take account for, because we got to remember, for most people today, the number one way that they're saving is in some type of tax-deferred retirement savings account, like an IRA or a 401k. And when we take money out of those accounts, we have to pay taxes on it. So why is tax planning important? Well, let's say you're planning on taking $10,000 a month from your investments. And let's say that you're in a 20% tax bracket. Well, that means after you take the withdrawal of $10,000 and you pay the taxes, you're going to net out $8,000, right? 20% on the 10,000. Well, what happens if tax rates go to 30% or 40%? If they go to 40%, now you're talking about that same withdrawal netting you $6,000.
Wow.
So your wealth, the biggest thing that will erode your wealth over time is inflation and taxation. So taxes is a key component. The other part is healthcare, right?
Absolutely.
You know, what happens if I want to retire before the age of 65? How am I going to bridge that gap up to Medicare? Once I hit the Medicare age, what type of supplement should I get? And then, of course, there's no point in doing all this great work if at the time when you die, you leave Uncle Sam as the largest beneficiary, and that's the legacy component of it, is making sure that we maximize the amount of wealth that transfers to your family. So, and this all should be in an organized binder, right? That it has all these written sections, so that you know that each area has been handled. And each of our clients get a financial planning checklist to make sure that every I's been dotted and every T's been crossed. And that's really a 30,000-foot view of what retirement planning should look like.
Absolutely. So Brian, when people are coming in and they're sitting with you for the very first time, because obviously I know the appointments have been just astronomical that you've been booking, is there one question that you hear more than anything else right now?
Brian, are we on the right track? Yeah. And this is why I developed the Right Track Retirement System, because the Right Track Retirement System really is going to address whether or not you're on the right track. If you're not on the right track, when would you want to know that? You know, most people would want to know that now more than later, because you can make adjustments. You know, if there's some red flags that currently exist within your plan, it's better to know that now than later. And the idea of taking advantage of the Right Track Retirement System is making sure that moving all the way into retirement, whether you're 5 years from retirement or 10 years from retirement, that you're maximizing everything that you could be, from investment performance to the level of risk that you're taking in your portfolio, and also really gearing that portfolio to maximize cash flow once you actually get to retirement. And that Right Track Retirement System really is going to help you get some clarity on what that roadmap to retirement should look like, and we're going to help give you turn-by-turn directions when you call in. As a matter of fact, if you call 1-888-382-1298, you can get access to that Right Track Retirement System. It's a complimentary review on our part that will address all those 5 key areas. We'll talk about that a little bit more later too.
Absolutely. So Brian, obviously we have 10 spots that we're going to be offering to the viewers today. How long should a person be planning to spend with you if they obtain one of those 10 spots? Is it 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour? How does it look?
Yeah, we block off an hour time. An hour time usually gets it done. You know, we ask that they come in prepared. We'll send a letter out just stating, you know, some things that they should bring in. And the idea is for you to get as much out of the meeting as you possibly can, because this is really designed for you. You know, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about you, because you are different than everybody else. And, you know, when we're building a real retirement plan, everybody's situation is different as far as what they want to do. Some people need cash flow now. Some people need cash flow later. Some people have no interest in leaving money to their kids. Some people want to leave a lot of money to their kids. Some people want to leave money to charity. Some people want to plan for taxes now. Some want to plan for taxes later. So there's all kinds of different conversations that we have. We will guide you through those conversations, but expect an hour. And over that hour of time, we dedicate a lot of time and resources to giving you that complimentary meeting. So the more prepared that you come in, the better job we can do in giving you everything we can during that hour of time.
Well, Brian, this is the perfect time for us to go ahead and open up the phone lines to the viewers at home. Would you agree?
Yeah. Folks, look, I've been practicing for over 21 years, and I'll tell you the number one thing that I hear every single time somebody comes into the office is, are we on the right track? Are we doing the right things? My question to you is, are you on the right track? If you're not, when would you want to know? The Right Track Retirement System that we've built is going to help you focus on 5 key areas. It's going to focus on your income, your investments, your taxes, your health care, and most importantly, your legacy, making sure that your wealth that you've accumulated goes to your family, your charities, and not to Uncle Sam. And for the next 10 callers who call in right now, this is going to be complimentary. We dedicate a lot of time and resources to this hour that we're going to give you at no cost. I've seen other people charge over $1,000 for other similar offers and features that we're going to do for you for absolutely no cost. When you come in, we're going to build out a Riskalyze report for you, which is going to show you the risk level in your portfolio. We're going to run a Morningstar report. We're going to look at Social Security maximization options. We're really going to pack a lot into that hour, but you need to do your part. You got to get up off the couch, put that cup of coffee down, grab the phone, call 1-888-382-1298, talk to my team, schedule an appointment today, and we'll see you at the office.
Brian, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the number is now open. The number to call is now open. The number is 888-382-1298. I know the viewers knew what I meant. Yes. Phone lines are now open again, 888-382-1298. Like Brian said, all you have to do is put down your cup of coffee and make the call today. He has 10 spots available only. Don't miss the opportunity to grab one of those spots. We have to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we have some viewer questions, so please don't go anywhere. This could be actually one of your questions that are coming up for Brian to answer. So we'll be right back momentarily.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have, by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back to Retirement U TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Brian Quaranta. He is president and founder of Secure Money Advisors. Brian, a great show we're having today, obviously, talking about the importance of planning for retirement. We talked about the difference between investment planning and planning for retirement, which
two
are
different things.
Totally different
Totally
things.
two different things.
You have a lot of viewers that have been so patient, just waiting for their questions to be answered. So if you don't mind, we're just going to jump right in today. Is that okay?
Yeah, we're going to speed question. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do just as many as we can. This is a great question. This is Bernie from South Hills. And Bernie wants to know, Brian, I'm 64 and I'm still working. I make $130,000 plus bonus each year. I don't have any debt. I don't own any property. I'm about to inherit $1 million, half of it this month. If I have a decent 401k, where should I invest the inheritance? Would real estate be a viable option for me?
Yeah, good questions.
Bernie from South Hills.
Bernie from South Hills. You know, I would have a lot of follow-up questions for Bernie, and like Bernie, how much is your Social Security going to be? Have you looked at when to collect the Social Security? Are you going to be receiving a pension from your employer? Are you going to need additional money from your 401k? If you were to buy real estate, would it be rental real estate that would generate some type of cash flow for you? So there's lots of questions that we need to ask Bernie. And as a fiduciary, that's my job, right? Because there's no cookie cutter answer here for Bernie without an intelligent conversation between him and I. But this happens all the time. And, one of the questions we always ask is, number one, do you expect to receive an inheritance at all? And number two, do you expect to have to maybe potentially care for a parent? And those are big things, because of what Bernie's about to experience with this inheritance, depending on how it's handled, we don't know where that money's coming from either. I mean, if that's coming from mom and dad's IRA accounts, or it's coming from bank accounts, there's going to be all kinds of different tax consequences based on where it's coming from. So I think he's asking a really great question. The unfortunate thing is there's really no solid answer there. Now, I'm not against real estate. I like real estate if it's purchased correctly, but at the end of the day, the question would be, would that be what he actually needs for his money? Would he need a high degree of liquidity? Because if we buy real estate, even though we've got a tangible asset, if he needed to liquidate, how long would it take him to liquidate, right? Yeah. So these are a lot of things that have to be determined before you just go out and say, hey, where should I put this? It's like somebody saying, hey, should I take the $1 million investment and buy Bitcoin?
What's your opinion on Bitcoin, Brian? Let's go
I'm going to say, should I buy Bitcoin?
Oh, okay. Let's go on to Chad's question. Actually, he's calling from Monroeville. Chad would like to know, Brian, I would like to invest money from my stock portfolio into something else, specifically a good ETF, either in gold or exponential technologies, or possibly healthcare. I know that not all ETFs are created equal, so I wanted to get your opinion. I am already invested in some traditional stocks and index funds.
Yeah, ETFs are great. I mean, one thing about ETFs is they're very cost efficient, and they trade, daily, every second, like a stock would. The problem with mutual funds, traditional mutual funds, and if you look, I subscribe to a journal called Investment News, which is an industry publication that I get, and I was just reading an article before the show about how much money is pouring out of traditional mutual funds, what we considered actively managed traditional mutual funds. And the reason is because everybody's moving to professionally managed money where they're utilizing ETFs. And the great thing about ETFs is they can be traded like a stock can. If I want to sell a mutual fund, okay, I can put the order in the morning, but I don't get the price until the end of the day. If I put in a stock trade right now, I get the price right now. And an ETF does the same thing. And so the ETFs have been a really great way to increase the diversification of the portfolio, also really control the cost of the portfolio, but also maximize the allocation of the portfolio because, an ETF basically is just a collection of stocks within this ETF package, but it's just priced more efficiently and cost more efficiently. So in his case, depending again on the ETF, right? I mean, what's his risk tolerance?
Right.
But I'm a fan of ETFs. I personally own ETFs myself, as I own individual stocks. So, in his case, it could be a blend between both. That could be good. But I've got nothing against ETFs. I think they're a better choice than even a traditional mutual fund.
Okay. Brian, thank you so much. Here's a great question. This is Ed in Butler. He's calling in and saying, Brian, I'm 92 and I want to invest some money with a company that has a bond fund where they buy and sell bonds and you receive a share of the return that they are able to produce. I'm sure there are hundreds of companies that do that, but what has your experience been?
Bonds.
Yep.
Bonds. I remember this was probably, 8-9 years ago. I remember a gentleman had come into my office and he had over $2 million in Lehman Brothers bonds. And Lehman Brothers have been around forever. And of course, for those of you watching that know the story of Lehman Brothers, this individual with over $2 million in bonds, I had asked him, does he feel comfortable having such a large position with one specific company? And he says, Lehman Brothers has been around for 100 plus years. They're not going anywhere. And we all know what happened. I mean, Lehman Brothers is now worthless. And I think about that guy every day because literally the bond is worth nothing. Pretty much, and he had over $2 million. And I think that's what you have to really think about when you purchase a bond is what's the strength of the company that you're buying with, because there's default risk. There's also interest rate risk. There's liquidity risk. So, depending on what the company is, what the term of the bonds are, what the interest rate is currently going to be paying, and at the same time, he's 92 years old.
I know.
He's 92 years old.
God bless
the
him.
question is, does he even need to take risk? I mean, heck, he could probably just put the money under his mattress and call it a day. And with bond rates, interest rates at averaging over, a little over 2%, is it even worth him taking the risk with the bond and being subjected to interest rate risk, default risk, credit risk, and all the stuff that goes along with purchasing a bond?
But how awesome is that he's 92 years old and he's watching your show and he's asking you these questions?
Yeah, and we see this all the time. I'll tell you, my favorite thing to do for folks that are in that age group is, there's some really great local companies that offer some really great interest rates, specific interest rates, where they can get 3-4% short term, keep their money relatively liquid. But it's just, I think it's neat on his part that he's 92 and going, hey, I got money. I need to, I got to make sure I'm maximizing what I get. But look, our Right Track retirement system, we've worked so hard to pack so much into this system for you. And it really is a roadmap that gives you turn-by-turn directions of how to get through retirement, get to retirement, get through retirement. And the first phase is really about what you're going to do today. And that's taking action to pick up the phone and schedule an appointment with my office. During that meeting, we're going to spend about an hour together. We're going to go through 5 key areas. We're going to talk about your income. We're going to talk about your investments, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning. And we're going to look at your current situation, and we're going to identify any red flags, any yellow flags, and we're going to see if there's any ways to improve what you're currently doing. We do this by starting by asking you a number of questions about what your goals are with the money, what challenges you have, what the purpose of the money is, what you want to do with it long term, what your risk tolerance is. You know, there's many times that we've run through the Right Track retirement system with people, and they tell us that they don't want to be taking a whole lot of risk, and we run what we call a Riskalyze report, which you'll get, and this report actually identifies the risk of your portfolio. And some people will tell us, well, we're not real big risk takers, and I'll run the Riskalyze report for them, and their risk will be off the charts. And it's the first time that they're actually finding out about that, and it makes them very uneasy to know that they asked to not be in a very risky portfolio, but we're showing that they are in a very risky portfolio. And that's the power of having data at your fingertips to be able to see what's going on. And those Morningstar reports that we're going to run for you, you know, they're going to be an x-ray into your current situation, looking at a number of different data points. So that's the Right Track retirement system. We're going to give this to you at no cost. You just need to do your part and get up off the couch, put the cup of coffee down, put down whatever you're doing, the paintbrush, whatever activity you're doing right now. Call 1-888-382-1298. This is complimentary to you at no cost.
Brian, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone lines are once again now open. That number to call is 888-382-1298. We have to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have time for a couple more viewer questions. So please stay tuned and don't go away.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Retirement U TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Brian Coantra. Oh, I did the R again. President and founder of Secure Money Advisors. It is like so funny. I don't know what it is, but it makes us laugh every time.
Maybe in year 2 we'll get it dialed in.
I don't know. Lofty goal, lofty goal. Okay. We have a caller named Daryl actually calling in from Butler. And Daryl wants to know, Brian, I'm 62 and I was planning to work for another 4 years before retiring. However, my job is wearing me down and I'm not happy there anymore. So I'm tempted to just quit and start taking Social Security now that I'm eligible and then work a low-stress part-time job somewhere. Have you seen people do this successfully? Brian, I love your show and I would appreciate your advice.
Well, first off, Daryl, right? Mm-hmm.
Daryl in Butler.
I see this all the time and we have lots of clients doing it, and you're definitely not alone here. There's lots of people that are burnt out on what they're doing and they just want to change. And you know, one of the things that we do very successfully for our clients is actually showing you how to do that, because it can be done and it's very easy to be done. You know, I want to encourage you that possibly collecting Social Security in helping offset the income need that you would need by getting a part-time job very easily could be a viable strategy, but the numbers will show that. And we have a way of actually mapping that out for you so you can make an informed decision of whether that mathematically makes sense. And we know right around where you need to be, so we'd be able to give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down of whether or not something like that would make sense for you to do. But it is absolutely possible. We've got many of our clients doing it and they're so happy that they actually made that transition.
Yeah.
And they're only a lot of times people will say, my only regret is I just didn't do it sooner. So but that's a great question, Daryl.
Absolutely, and I think we have time for one more, Brian. We have a caller from Mount Lebanon. Her name is Phyllis. She said, the whole idea of not working anymore makes me really nervous about our financial future. I've worked for over 50 years and I can't imagine just stopping. How can I know that the resources I have accumulated will meet our needs for the rest of our lives?
Yeah, Phyllis, it's math. Math will tell you whether or not it'll meet your needs. But I get it. I mean, what Phyllis is asking, I think this is what terrifies everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about the monumental task that's in front of us here. I mean, we're talking about people working for 40, 50 years and then all of a sudden stopping. And you're accumulating this chunk of money, and now it needs to last for the next 25, 30 years. I mean, it's hard for people to wrap their minds around making something like that happen. But there's best practices to make sure that can happen. And when you walk through a real retirement strategy, and you walk through the math, you're going to see exactly how that would work. But I would tell you, successfully retiring over 1,200 people in my career, having a 98% client retention rate, there's a reason why we've been able to do what we've done, because there are some really simple strategies. And what I will tell every listener out there or every viewer out there, the more simple you keep this, the better off you're going to be. The mistake that people make is they make it way more complicated than it needs to be. The whole idea is to have a stream of income that you can rely on that will never go away, and then whatever else you can take risk with to make sure it grows. And we'll teach you how to do that when you come in. And this is why we built out the Right Track Retirement System, Cynthia.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is everything that we do at Secure Money Advisors and helping you approach retirement and making sure that we're giving you the confidence and peace of mind by giving you turn-by-turn directions with the Right Track Retirement System. There's so many people that have asked me, whether it be from my radio show or from the TV shows, or people just write in from the website and just say, I've got a question in regards to when to collect Social Security. So many people just don't even know when the best time is to collect their Social Security.
Yeah.
Other people will say to me, I wish I had a pension. Is there a way that I can create my own pension?
Yeah.
But the big one I hear is people say, look, I can't afford to take the risk anymore. I can't afford to be subjected to another big market correction. How do I approach retirement if I can't take that kind of risk anymore?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to teach you with the Right Track Retirement System. But you have to do your part. You've got to pick up the phone, call my team at 1-888-382-1298. Again, that's 1-888-382-1298. We're going to pack a lot in the hour that we spend with you. And I've seen other people charge over $1,000 for what we're going to do for you, complimentary with no obligation. So again, do your part, pick up the phone, call my team today, schedule an appointment. It's 1-888-382-1298.
Brian, thank you for another amazing show this week. I can't wait to see you next week. To the viewers at home, thank you for spending time with us again. That number to call is 888-382-1298. Please keep the viewer questions coming. We love hearing what you're thinking about, and Brian loves answering those questions. Again, thank you for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you here next week. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. Take care now.